The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan are one of New York's largest independently owned insurance agencies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
Good evening, folks. I would like to announce the onset of the meeting, and it's a regular town board meeting, town board of Town of Queensbury. It's October 7th, 2019. The time is 7 p.m. So, first thing, would you all please rise and join Councilman George Brown in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. We have a big crowd here tonight, and I understand that at least some of our young folks are with Mrs. Bailey's class.
Yeah.
Yes.
No Mr. Terry?
Oh, Terry.
One Terry. So where is Mrs. Bailey and Mr. Terry, though?
Where are
Huh?
Sleeping.
I'm just saying.
I think
You know, it really would have been nice to see them, although I saw Mr. Terry not long ago at his wedding, which was a beautiful wedding, and I wish him and Sarah the best. So Mrs. Bailey and Mr. Terry are both fine teachers, and I know you know that. So I'll get on to regular business. And the first thing we're going to need to do is to move into the Queensbury Board of Health. And this board makes themselves into the Board of Health if it wishes to do so. We have actually only 2 matters to deal with today. One of which has been pulled, and I'll announce that if and when we go into the Queensbury Board of Health. Is there a motion to go into the Queensbury Board of Health?
So moved.
It's moved by Councilperson Farrell,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilperson Metabeer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? No. All right, so it's unanimous, and we are now into the Queensbury Board of Health. First item on our agenda, please,
It's a
Karen.
resolution granting Loretta Landry an extension of time for septic system replacement at 53 Assembly Point Road and reinstating escrow deposit.
Okay, so we adopted Chapter 137. And that chapter was the septic inspection upon property transfer. So if you live in a waterfront zone and you're about to transfer the title of your property to another party, you need to have your septic inspected. Now, most of those in waterfront residential, if not all of them, are on-site systems. So part of that is, if you can't get it done for one reason or another, that you put up $2,000 and we give you 6 months to get the job done. Well, in some cases, maybe you can't get the job done within that 6 months for one reason or another. We had a provision in the law saying that you could come to the Board of Health and make your case. And that is the case here. The former owner, Loretta Landry, delivered $2,000 in escrow deposit to the town. And this is for a property that has been sold on 53 Assembly Point Road. And on March of 2019, she entered into a contract to sell such property in accordance with Chapter 137, scheduled a wastewater treatment system inspection, and delivered $2,000 in escrow deposit to the town. And whereas Chapter 137 provides that such escrow deposit be forfeited to the town in the event that any needed septic repairs or installations are not completed within the time provided as established in Chapter 137. And whereas the applicant has advised that during the process of replacing the on-site wastewater treatment system, it was discovered that a new wastewater system will require several variances and additional time is required, and therefore the applicant has requested the town board accordingly grant her additional time to obtain variances for an installation of a new replacement wastewater system, meeting town standards, and extend the date on her $2,000 escrow instead of it being automatically forfeited to the town. So this resolution has a resolve that the Queensbury Town Board, as the town's local board of health, hereby authorizes and grants Loretta Landry additional time on or until November 30th, 2019 to submit an application, obtain variances for, and complete installation of a new replacement wastewater system at 53 Assembly Point Road. And that And upon the completion of the system, as just described, she would get her $2,000 escrow returned to her. So, is this town board willing to extend that date to November 30th, 2019? Perhaps. We'll see in a minute. Is there anybody out in the audience, an agent or the owner, that would like to speak to this request to extend the time period? All right, seeing nobody from the audience that wishes to speak to this, any thoughts on behalf of the town board? Okay, if you're okay with extending this, can I have a motion to do so?
I'm gonna abstain from this.
I'll move it. All right, moved by Councilperson Brown, seconded by
Second.
Councilperson Switzer. A roll call vote, please, Karen?
Councilperson Ferraro,
Yes.
Switzer,
Yes.
Stroud,
Yeah.
Medevere.
Abstain.
All right, 3 ayes, 3 yeses, and an abstain. The resolution passes. The extension is granted. Next item, you can read it anyways, but it's been pulled, but if you would,
Okay, it's the resolution granting Don Bernard of 20 Brayton LLC an extension of time for septic system replacement at 20 Brayton Lane Road and reinstating escrow deposit.
okay, the applicant asked to pull this resolution from tonight's agenda, and they plan to have some further preparations made and have it ready for our October 21st town board meeting. So we'll not deal with that tonight, in case anybody was here to speak to that. And the third, but second resolution that needs an action, 1.3, please, Karen.
Resolution setting public hearing on sewage disposal variance application of Frank and Aaron Steinbeck.
Okay. So, this is Frank and Aaron Steinbeck want to put a new septic system at their 211 Assembly Point Road. And Dennis McElroy of Environmental Design Partnership is present, should the town board have any questions. I'm sure we would like to do a site visit at some point, Dennis, so I'll get in contact with you on that matter. But they need 3 variances, and this public hearing will be on October 21st if this Board of Health wishes to set it for that date and time. The 3 variances they're asking for is 1, the absorption of the field to be 70 foot from the well instead of the required 100-foot setback. Second variance, absorption field to be 3 foot from the west property line instead of the required 10-foot setback. And third request, or variance request, is absorption field to be 3 foot from the south property line instead of the required 10-foot setback. So is there a motion to set the public hearing on this sewage disposal variance application of Frank and Aaron Steinbeck for October 21st?
I'll introduce.
Introduced by Councilperson Medevere,
Second.
seconded by Councilperson Switzer. Roll call vote on 1.3, please.
Councilperson Ferone,
Yes.
Switzer,
Yes.
Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere.
Yes.
All right, so the public hearing has been set for October 21st on that matter. That's it for the Queensbury Board of Health. Is there a motion to move out of the Queensbury Board of Health?
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Ferone,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilperson Medevere. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. We're out of the Queensbury Board of Health. Now on to some public hearings. All the public hearings deal with the benefit tax rolls for our sanitary sewer districts. Very exciting stuff, eh? All right, so let's go through them and deal with them one at a time. There are 5 of them. 2.1, please, Karen.
Resolution adopting Queensbury Consolidated Sanitary Sewer District benefit tax roll for 2019.
All right. And the tax rate change is down 2.5% for the Queensbury Consolidated Sanitary Sewer District benefit tax roll for 2019. I'll open the public hearing. Any member of the public wish to speak to this resolution adopting the tax roll for Queensbury Consolidated Sanitary Sewer District? Seeing none, I close the public hearing. A vote on approving the adoption of the Queensbury Consolidated Sanitary Sewer District benefit tax roll.
I'll introduce.
All right, move for 2019. Shouldn't that be for 2020?
I would think. As should the next 4.
So it's 2020.
Sometimes we do the copy and paste thing, say.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to
It's gotta
change.
be setting it for 2020,
Chris,
right?
yes, Chris, actually, our water superintendent is in,
Chris is here,
yes.
and it's 2020, right?
Yes, 2020.
Yes, okay, so, who made the motion to adopt? Do you agree to the amendment to the year 2020?
Agreed.
And, Councilperson Switzer?
Yes,
Okay. Were the amendment agreed upon by the person that made the motion and the person that seconded the motion? Would we have a roll call vote on this, please?
Sure, Councilperson Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere.
Yes.
Ferone,
Yes, do we have to make note of the fact that all of the references to 2019 need to be changed to 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
I hate to ask the question, but what about our resolution setting the public hearing? Do we have to go back and change those now?
No, no one's going to consider that a material change.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, well, it's always best to ask and be sure. Okay, so resolution passes. We'll go on to the next public hearing. 2.2, Karen, please.
resolution adopting Reservoir Parks Sanitary Sewer District benefit tax roll for 2020.
For 2020, and all the 2019 references will be changed to 2020. All right, this is for Reservoir Park, and the tax rate change is down 1.5%. Down, that's always good, down. Okay, I'll open the public hearing on Reservoir Park Sanitary Sewer District benefit tax roll for 2020. Anybody wish to speak to this? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Anybody like to make a motion to approve this resolution adopting Reservoir Park Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilperson Frall,
Second.
seconded by Councilperson Medevere. Roll call vote on this, please, Karen.
Councilperson Medevere?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Switzer?
Yes.
Stroud?
Yes. Resolution passes. Resolution 2, or public hearing 2.3.
Resolution adopting Route 9 Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020.
Okay, this is for Route 9. Tax rate change down 0.8%. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to speak to the Route 9 Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion to have approving this resolution adopting the Route 9 Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020?
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Medevere,
Second?
seconded by Councilperson Switzer. Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Switzer?
Yes.
Stroud?
Yes,
Medevere?
Yes.
resolution passed. Resolution 2.4.
Resolution adopting South Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020.
Okay, this is for South Queensbury. Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District, and the tax rate change is down 1.6%. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishes to speak to the proposed adoption of the South Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020? Seeing none, hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion from a board member to approve this resolution adopting the South Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilperson Ferrall,
Second.
seconded by Councilperson Medevere. Roll call vote on this. 2.4, please.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Switzer?
Yes.
Stroud?
Yes,
Medevere?
Yes.
passes unanimously. And our last one, for public hearing's sake, Karen, please.
Resolution adopting West Queensbury Consolidated Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020.
Okay. And West Queensbury Consolidated Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll, tax change is down 5.3%. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody from the public wish to speak to the proposed West Queensbury Consolidated Sewer District Benefit Tax Roll for 2020? Seeing none, hearing none, is there a town board member that wishes to move this forward for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Switzer,
Second.
seconded by Councilperson Ferrall. Roll call vote on 2.5, please.
Councilperson Switzer?
Yes.
Stroud?
Yes.
Medevere?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Okay, another year done. Now, we have 12 resolutions before us. I'm going to go through and briefly describe each one, except for one's going to take a little bit of a lengthy description, but I think you'll enjoy it. And then I'm going to give the public an opportunity to speak to any of the 12 resolutions that we have before us tonight. I will go through and explain and describe each one. And if you wish to comment, share your thoughts on any of them, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so following my description of the 12 resolutions. Now, if you have another town matter that's not part and parcel to the resolutions, you'll be given the opportunity towards the end of the meeting to talk to the town board about that other town matter that you may have in mind, okay? This part of the meeting is strictly to the resolution stuff. So let me begin explaining. 4.1, Karen?
Resolution engaging engineering services of Barton and Ladudas PC related to traffic signal design at intersections of Bay and Quaker Roads and Glenwood Avenue and Quaker Road.
Okay. I don't want to make you nervous driving home, but we have got some old signals on Quaker Road, especially the two intersections where Bay Road intersects with Quaker Road and where Glenwood intersects with Quaker Road. We've had some serious problems. We've had some situations there We want to get this resolved as soon as possible. Barton Judas has been doing our signalization design. They're very good, they're very accurate, they're very dependable. So this is to approve the design of those signals to get a product that we can go out to bid with. And designing of those both signals is they want $20,977. But they're gonna produce a document where we can go out to bid and get new signals for those two intersections. Now, we have a lot of old signals in Queensbury. Those are the two that really need attention right now. What's interesting is those two signals are part of what we want to see someday. I'll explain in a minute, okay? I think you're all gonna love this if we can get there. But that's later, just hold that thought. So this resolution is just to get those two signalized intersections redesigned so we can go out to bid. 4.2,
Resolution authorizing engagement of Chief Pete's Lawn Care for mowing services and/or one-time property cleanup services at certain abandoned or neglected properties.
okay. I forgot to mention it, but we do have Director Dave Hatton present, so if you have any questions that deal with building and codes, he's the person to refer to, and we may call him up if we need him. He's here, and we appreciate that. All right, so we hire Chief Pete to take care of negligent properties that have been neglected. 11 Newcomb Street needs a one-time mowing service plus a one-time cleanup because of neglect and there's exterior trash. Chief Pete's going to charge us $60 to get that cleaned up, and if they don't have it cleaned up by a certain time period, Chief Pete's going to do it. We're going to add $60 to their taxes. The other address is 210 Sunnyside Road. It needs one-time mowing services. That'll be $60 unless the owner gets that cleaned up prior to us taking action with Chief Pete. So this is to hire Chief Pete to get those done for the prices I just mentioned. 4.3.
Resolution authorizing contribution towards 2020 Earth Day celebration in City of Glens Falls.
All right, the City of Glens Falls and the town of Queensbury coordinate with other parties to create an Earth Day. And it requires banners, it requires other things. And so they wish the city and the town to contribute to the expenses of holding Earth Day. And they estimate the cost to be around $1,500. And so it'd be up to $750 that the town, if it gets approved, is willing to put towards this. And the city will also match that at $750 for this event. 4.4.
Resolution authorizing agreement between Town of Queensbury and Lakes to Locks Passage, Inc.
All right, Lakes to Locks Passage is one that tries to guide visitors and say we have beautiful roads, and on these roads there's historic events, and you should see this and that and the other, and you should learn about the history of these events that are usually national events. So they ask for $500 worth of occupancy tax, as they do annually, to help them fund their promotion of the town and the area. 4.5.
Resolution authorizing application for funds from New York State DOT NYSERDA for an adaptive signal control technologies feasibility study of aviation at Quaker Road.
Okay. Let me take you to the future. The future is Quaker Road and Aviation Road, that corridor from the Northway all the way down to Dex. The future is that you will not hit every single, how could you do this, red light, right? Because that seems to be the problem. How about if we put in a system that could measure the flow of the cars, measure the demand of cars, take a look at the pedestrian and bicycle users, evaluate all this in a mass computer, and make that flow most efficient and more safe for everybody involved for that whole corridor. Wouldn't that be great? That's what we're working on. So, in New York State, we kind of put the idea before them, and they said, we think that has some merit. Will you make an application? So whereas the New York State Department of Transportation and New York State Energy Research and Development Authority issued a program opportunity notice in April of 2019 requesting innovative proposals to improve the efficiency of New York's transportation system while reducing energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions. And whereas in August of 2019, the town of Queensbury and the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council submitted a concept paper to New York State DOT and NYSERDA, proposing to identify the feasibility and applicability of adaptive signal control technologies within the Aviation Quaker Road corridor from exit 19 to Lower Warren Street. This, and I want to thank Director of the AGFTC, that's the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council. The director is Aaron Frankenfeld, and the senior transportation planner is Jack Mance. They've supported this, and they were the ones that have been communicating to New York State DOT, Department of Transportation, and NYSERDA, and got recognized. Yeah, put in for a grant. So the estimated total cost of the project is $80,000. So that means that the grant would be for 60, and then through in-kind services and maybe cash, we'd have to come up with the other 20. Okay. So what are adaptive signal control technologies? They automatically adapt to unexpected changes in traffic conditions, and they look at the whole system. They improve travel time reliability, they reduce congestion and fuel consumption, they prolong the effectiveness of traffic signal timing, they reduce the complaints, they make traffic signal operations proactive by monitoring and responding to gaps in performance. All right, so why us? All right, if we can get this system in, all right, this is a feasibility study. Don't misunderstand me. This is not a grant money to put the system in. It's a feasibility. Is this corridor worth it? Well, on the surface, it appears to be worth it. Would it be? It's expensive, but grant money hopefully will pay for it. Will it improve traffic time? Yes, by up to 50% in some cases. A minimum 10% improvement in efficiencies and reduction in speed, but possibly up to 50% efficiency and reduction in time. Okay, and so we're talking about congestion management of the Aviation Quaker Road corridor in Queensbury, which gets about 25,000 cars per day. So what this would do is create kind of like what they call an adaptive signals control technologies pilot program for a small urban area. We would be the first of our size. And if this is successful, we'll become the model for other communities. And yes, it is to make it safer, more efficient, but even as important, and maybe even more important, it's environmentally friendly. You reduce gas, you reduce your carbon footprint. So currently, or based on the 2018, the Aviation Quaker Corridor experienced over 156,000 peak hours of excessive delay. This accounts for half of the peak hours excessive delay in Warren County, just in that corridor. As such, improving travel flow and reducing bottlenecks in this corridor are a high priority since they are both local and regional. And this, I'll call it ASCT, just because it means, the standard that we're improving the corridor efficiencies, can improve the quality of life. Will project a realization of a 15% reduction in crashes related to congestion. In the accident rates for the intersection of Glen, Quaker, it's 5.73. On Dix and Quaker, it's 9.88. All right, 5.73, doesn't mean anything to you now, will in a minute, those of you who are math-minded. And 9.88. The statewide average for similar sized intersections is 0.25. We're way above the state average for accidents on those intersections. In addition, there are elevated non-intersection related accident rates on Aviation Road, 3.33, and Quaker Road from Dix to Warren Street, 3.61 accidents per million vehicle miles, compared to a state average of 2.85 and 2.71, higher in both cases. So, all right. So this feasibility study will focus on other innovative signal control systems related to pedestrian and bicycle movements. So, like many smaller urban, suburban communities, the timing of locally owned traffic signals in Queensbury is accomplished through, in 2007, Glens Falls and Queensbury worked together on another shared services thing to get the signalization of Route 9, Quaker Road, Aviation Road, all timed out. But antiquated signalization systems, accidents, every time we have an outage in electricity, everything stumbles, it's impossible to reset that. The only possible way is possibly getting into this adaptive signal control technology, okay? So this is the town of Queensbury is going to begin this proactive effort. We're going to inventory traffic signals in the corridor. 2 of them are going to be new as a first step. And so the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council has identified the corridor as a priority in the most recent update of the long-range transportation plan called 2040 Ahead. And by studying the feasibility of the ACLI system, both agencies hope to identify innovative long-term solutions to congestion in the corridor. So the benefits of this technology for the Aviation Quaker Road corridor are identifiable. They will improve traffic times, reduce congestion, reduce emissions, and reduce capital costs for implementing if we get some or all the traffic signals in the corridor. So any way you look at it, this is going to be a good thing. And so that's resolution 4.5. Okay, I told you I had one that would take a while to explain. 4.6.
Resolution authorizing termination of merchant application and agreement between the town of Queensbury and Elevon U.S. Bank, formerly known as ETS, regarding provision of online payment of town water and sewer bills.
All right, in 2015, we adopted an agreement with ETS, and they have since become Avalon. And since they switched over to a new company, whoever took them over has incorrect information, and we have difficult time communicating with them. We have a difficult time with them in many different ways, and this is a resolution to terminate that agreement. 4.7.
Resolution to amend 2019 budget.
All right, the big thing on there is $205,000 in increased appropriation for CHIPS. We didn't count on that. It was great that we got it. We need to add it to that, the appropriation and appropriate category in our finance world. 4.8.
Resolution authorizing acceptance of $25 donation from Lana Cassidy.
Yeah, all donations have to be accepted, and we want to thank Lana Cassidy. She wants to give $25 to the cemetery department to use as they deem fit. So if this passes, we'll be able to accept the $25 donation from Lana Cassidy. 4.9.
Resolution establishing groundskeeper's position in cemetery department and appointing Raymond Wood.
All right, our cemetery superintendent, Connie Getter, is present tonight. And she has a new position. It's called groundskeeper. It'll pay the same as an MEO, about $21.41 an hour. And this will be on a Tuesday through Saturday schedule. And the person she's interviewed, she's posted, and she's reviewed resumes, and Raymond Wood is the candidate she would like to see take this position as the groundskeeper position for the Tuesday through Saturday schedule. 4.10,
Resolution authorizing grant application through New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Municipal Waste Reduction and Recycling Program.
all right, well, Kathy Bozzoni just wants the permission from this board to make an application of this grant. She does not know how much money we will get, but she would like us to focus on, and this comes out of the Climate Smart Community Committee. It's a 50-50 grant. She'll coordinate the grant, and she's anticipating the grant would be somewhere between 12 and 20, but the dollar amount has not been determined. And again, it's an effort on behalf of this town to try and reduce our waste. And so this can be done through investigating our current systems. It can be done through education. It can be done through investigating other systems that might help reduce waste. So this is just giving her the green light to go ahead and apply for this. And if she gets the grant, and we have the details of what the grant's for and how much the grant's for, and the town's, and it's a 50-50 grant, meaning whatever money it is, the town has to match that, neither money or services. This board will have to approve it before it can move on. So this is just for her to apply for it. Resolution 411.
Resolution authorizing hiring of Peter Bockham and Mark Ramsey as part-time court officers.
Okay, so these are as needed, part-time court officers, Peter Bockham and Mark Ramsey. And Mark Ramsey, I should announce to you, is the husband of Simone Ramsey, a senior typist with the town's Park and Recreation Department. And the last one, 412.
Resolution approving audit of bills warrant of October 8, 2019.
All right, this board has to approve the bills before they get paid. So this is a warrant with a run date of October 3rd, 2019, and a payment date of October 8th, 2019, totaling $684,593.01. Those are the 12 resolutions before this board tonight. Any member of the public wish to speak to the board about any of those resolutions before the town tonight? Yes, sir. Please give your name.
Hi, Harrison Freer, Garrison Road, and I'd just like to talk about 4.5 for a second. I'd like to laud that effort. There is other issues, however, that include speeding that I think we have to somehow figure out a way to address in the town. Congestion is a big problem, but the input I've gotten from people is that speeding is as big a problem. So as we go down this study route, it would be good to find out how we can help with the speeding issues in the town as well. And I think a big part of that is just education and training and emphasis on, the need to obey the speed limits for the protection of everyone in the community. Thank you.
Yes, well, Mr. Freer is right. That's probably our number one complaint. And most recently, we've gotten complaints on speeding on Bay Road, speeding on Sweet Road, speeding on Pinewood Hollow, speeding on West Mountain Road, speeding on where? Dixon Road, speeding on Burnt Hills Drive. Matter of fact, I probably mentioned almost every town, street in the town. People are very concerned about speeding. What can we do? I mean, we're not a police agency. But I think that what you'll see in the future is a deeper cooperation with the Warren County Sheriff's Department. The heir apparent, Jim LaFar, he wants to go back to a community system where, the patrol officers, and Warren County has some excellent patrol officers. The patrol officers are going to get to know their neighborhood and their community, and the community are going to get to know their patrol officers. So I think that's a good head start in maybe doing something with speeding that we're seeing. But the town board isn't ignoring it. I mean, we've been researching, what can we do? It's disappointing there's not a lot we can do. We'll set the speed limit lower. Well, the lowest we can set the speed limit is 30. Unless it's a school district, then we can set it less than that. But you can't set it any less than 30. Well, Mr. Shrow, how about Fire Road? That's 20. That's in the city of Glens Falls. Cities are allowed to go down to 20. Towns are only allowed to go down to 30. A lot of people don't know that, but we're learning all that. And, okay, so you set it for 30, and people are going 40 and 50. That's a cultural issue. And I think that we as a group need to respond to that because, we use the road for bicycling. We use the roads for pedestrians. We don't want anybody to get killed, but speeding kills. So maybe an educational component to this needs to be done, and maybe some of you young people could help us with that. Huh? Anyhow. Okay. Anybody else like to speak to the town board about any of the resolutions before the town tonight? Tony, did you, something you wanted to say? Yes, sir. Please state your name for the record.
George Winters, 4 John Clendon Road. 4.1, you're paying $20,000 for that study. 4.5, you're paying for that study. Do they coincide with each other? You're gonna put a light on Bay Road and one on, and then you don't even know whether they're gonna be fit into this system you wanna put on Quaker Road.
No, we don't, and you're right, George.
So why would you wanna do a study on that?
It's not a study. We've already done the study. Those are two problem intersections. What we need now is a redesign of those intersections, a redesign of a reliable signal system, because people are getting in automobile accidents. People could be getting hurt. We need to do something now. We can't delay this. I know they seem to conflict, George, but what do you do? So we need to have redesigned systems, and both of these systems will make it more pedestrian friendly than it is now, because you have no pedestrian accommodations at those intersections right now. This new system, you'll hit the button and you'll have your white man showing you that you can now go, and it will be safe for pedestrians to use, safer. So what do you do, George? I mean, so this corridor study.
I don't know, I've been here for 50 years in this community, and you pull up the stoplight, you look around, okay, the light's green for you. Look around a little bit. And a car just went through it. I see that all the time on Quaker Road. But anybody that travels Quaker Road, unless they're from out of town, knows that that road is bad to travel. And now a lot of them go down through the city and zigzag, or Haviland Road, that way.
Well, George, that's another thing I didn't bring up, but it was mentioned when we were discussing it. You know the impact on secondary roads of all the drivers who are trying to avoid Quaker Road.
Right.
Trying to avoid that 40,000 car intersection, and I'm talking about Quaker Road and Route 9. 40,000 cars a day on a busy day. 40,000 cars. We're trying to avoid that, so what do? We use Sweet Road, Round Pond Road. We're doing everything we can to avoid it. Well, if it were safer and more efficient, more people would use it, and that would take some of this negative impact off of these secondary roads like Sweet Road and Round Pond Road.
And 4.9, the groundkeeper's position, is that to do with the creamery? Or,
Yeah,
I mean,
at least on
crematory.
Saturdays and possibly more, this person will be expected to run the crematory, yeah.
yeah, is that how you solved that problem you had?
Yes,
Did that go to arbitration?
no, we solved it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody else like to speak to any of the resolutions before the town board tonight? Okay. Any town board wishes to speak to any of the resolutions or wish a roll call in any of the resolutions?
I'm sure George and I are gonna say the same thing,
I
what
wanna-
George is talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think I want to dovetail into that. Just want to make sure that, I'm sure that Barton and Ladudis will be made aware of the fact that we're seeking these funds to do that adaptive signal control technology, but if there's any way for them to figure out whatever we plan on buying is going to work with that.
I don't
And-
think anybody at this point knows what the product's gonna look.
But I think we
But
should
they might have,
ask.
yeah, and they might have an idea.
Yeah, well, we've made them aware that this study's going on,
Okay.
but I don't know if they could, go and say, okay, well, maybe you might use this signalized system, but it's twice as expensive as the one we were planning on putting in. But you really don't know you're gonna use that, so do you wanna spend twice the money? I mean, we're caught between a rock and a hard place right now.
No, I understand we have to do resolution 4.1, that the signal equipment has to be upgraded and
Yeah.
changed.
And maybe the bid includes the option so that we just have an idea of which way we're gonna go.
Yeah, I know, I don't think, I've asked them,
So you're
I
thinking,
just don't think the advanced system.
you think there's more than one type of system out there, and that's why there would be
Yeah,
confusion?
I'm thinking possibly, but I will run it by them, see what they say, and I'll share their answer with you, okay?
Great minds think alike.
Okay, but the thing about it is we're in a situation where we have to do something with those intersections.
Understand.
All right. Okay. Any other comments, thoughts on any other resolutions? Roll call?
I need introduction in a second.
All right. We've got to get by roll call.
So
So
moved.
nobody, move by, resolutions 4.1 through 4.12. Move for approval by Councilperson Switzer, seconded by,
I'll second.
Councilperson Ferone. Roll call vote on resolutions 4.1 through 4.12.
Councilperson Strauss,
Yes.
Medivir.
Yes.
Ferone,
Yes.
Switzer.
Yes.
Unanimous, they all passed. Any correspondence, Karen?
No.
No correspondence. Privilege of the floor. This is the part of the meeting where you can come up and speak to the town board about any town issue you want. Any takers? Well, that's unusual. Okay. All right. So we're doing good on time. Town Council Shatner. Town board discussions. Let's start with you, Tony. What? Did I miss something?
No, it just happened to be that you pointed out town council and he hasn't said a word all night.
I'm not the timekeeper. No, but I was looking at you. But you and I were talking before we gotta go into executive session at the end of the meeting and to discuss a civil case, and the county attorney is gonna probably join us with that discussion. And that will happen when we conclude the regular meeting. I'll ask for a move into executive session, basically stating the reasons why. And if this board is inclined to go into the executive session, then we're gonna go into that. And we were thinking 8-ish. So that's.
We're on
what-
track. We're
Yeah.
on track.
Until we get to John.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna fill the last 10 minutes.
Not if we do first.
If only it was 10 minutes.
It's 21 last
It's not a long one tonight,
Seriously?
but anything, Tony?
So I'm always very careful when we talk about losing member of our community because we lose a lot of great people every day. But this past week, we lost a legend. Jim Barry lived in the town. He worked for the county in their DPW department, but he was a ski instructor at West Mountain for 54 years. 54 years. So anybody that skied at West Mountain probably came across Jim. He was the nicest guy you'd ever meet. Always had a smile. Just, you know, he was a legend. And unfortunately, we learned that he passed away this past week at a much too young age. But to be a ski instructor for 54 years, he taught me how to ski. So, great guy. He will be deeply missed by everybody in the community.
And this board and the community agrees with you on that. And thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, George.
For the betterment of the process, I have nothing.
Okay. Jennifer?
2 quick things. One, just a reminder to everyone that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, especially those young ladies out in the audience. And the second is there's maybe an opportunity for the town to work with the school district. One of the seniors at Queensbury High School approached my husband asking about EV stations at the school district. They have already received a grant on waste reduction, and they're working on that. So I think it would be a great opportunity for us to work. Maybe that there's a way that somehow National Grid and NYSERDA would allow us to work with the school district, and maybe some of those EV stations could be placed there. So I'm hoping that we can hook the school district up and that student with Kathy, and we can see what we can come up with.
Well, good idea, as well as working with the city for waste reduction. You can't go it alone.
No,
Everyone's got to be in.
and that's it.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, my turn. What do I have here? All right, well, it is getting near that time of the year, and I'm talking about the residential annual fall leaf bag pickup. Okay, leaves only, and in biodegradable paper bags. Do not put them in the road, put them in the lawn area next to the road. They should not weigh more than 50 pounds, or we won't accept them. So bag everything, bag your leaves, your pine needles, put them in biodegradable paper bags. Do place them in the roadside or on your lawn, not in the road, the weekend before the scheduled pickup. Okay, your scheduled pickup. Ward 3, November 3rd, and shortly after. Ward 4, November 17th. Wards 1 and 2, November 24th. Okay, so that week, get them out by the 24th, put them out the night before. If we have time when we don't get snowfall, and keep in mind, last year, somebody was saying in October, we got snowfall in October, so that kind of throws us all off, okay? Then we're busy picking up snow, we're busy setting up trucks, we're busy sanding and salting and so forth. All right, so November 3rd for Ward 3, November 17th, Ward 4, November 24 for Wards 1 and 2. Just leaves, don't put sod, trash, rocks, and everything else in those bags. Okay? And supervisors report to the community and board. Let me see, I'll just deal with the basics here and not the everyday stuff. One thing I am reviewing, the county and the tourism department would like to put out a little history of the area. We're fortunate, we live in an area that's very, very rich in history. And hopefully, your social studies teachers have driven that home and you realize how important the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War and other things that have happened in this community and how important they are, even on a national scale. So I'm reviewing the documents and reviewing the mares, and I found a couple of small ones, but it's basically very good. We're working on the new highway garage. We're almost at the 90% of planning and design of it, and cost estimates are coming in about as expected. On Thursday, September 26th, I did a Halfway Brook Trail walk with members of the city, Mayor Hall, and others, and I walked the proposed Halfway Brook Trail, which those of you that know the trail system, and you know the Rush Pond Trail, because it's right next to the school, and I know you cross-country people use it all the time, and that's good. And we also do it for fundraisers, like the sarcoma cancer fundraiser uses the trail, and they're very successful, and that's good. But the southern terminus of the Rush Pond Trail now becomes the northern point of which you will connect with the Halfway Brook Trail, and that will get you out to Peggy-Ann. And then after that, we'll work on connecting trails to the other trails, such as the Feeder Canal Trail and a trail going down to the Coles Woods Trail, so they're all interconnected. Okay, we'll work on that later. So we're all working together on that. We did our preliminary stormwater facilities report for the west side of Bay Road. And we see that, we need a lot more work to do with that, is what we see. But that was a start. It was a pilot program. Eventually, we want to get to the point where all the stormwater systems and facilities in the town are readily available to anybody with a phone or a tablet. They'll be standing there. It'll show the whole system. It'll show the direction of flow it's supposed to be going in. It'll show the capacity of the flows and so forth, so that when we have problems, and more, we're getting problems with the flooding. And we're getting the phone calls, and they're getting, can't you do something about it? And the culverts are all going to be made bigger. These storm events are getting stronger, and we need to make our communities more sustainable in dealing with that in the future. So we're working on that. And part of that is inventorying our whole system so that you can go to a site and look at your phone and it'll show you the system. Similar to, is Superintendent Harrington still here?
Yes.
Yes, similar to what he has. We had an issue on Quaker Road last week, and it's over by Aldi's, and there's a leaky valve. And I was looking at the superintendent's phone, and it showed the whole water system in the area on his phone. That's perfect. That's what we need for stormwater. So we got to get there. I met with Kirkpatrick's again to talk and negotiate about the Rockhurst Community Septic Program. We need their help, and it appears they're willing to work with us, but we need to do more discussion and information sharing. Went to the Cradle Library Monopalooza Gala benefit honoring Dan Burke. Very appropriate. Dan Burke's a great asset to our community. And then the Chapman Museum had their cemetery tour on September 28th, Saturday. My wife and I helped out with that. And then went to Mr. Terry and Sarah's wedding that night. Taste of the North Country on Sunday, and then I went to the Glen Falls Symphony opening night gathering in the Queensbury Hotel. And the Moore family have done wonderful things with the Queensbury Hotel. They have brought that up. Now you walk in there and you got music going and everything's first class and the bathrooms are gorgeous, and maybe that doesn't mean anything to people, but it does to me. But everything's first class. I mean, he has brought that up you're very proud of that asset in our greater community. And then I was with Chris Harrington, Bob Paffner. We talked about the Quaker Road leak and what we can do about it, what we need to do. And then I did a ribbon cutting over to Sharp Presents. It's a little store that has like one-of-a-kind stuff. And it's across the street from the wood cart. Look for it. it's a sharp presence. And if you're looking for unique things and unique gifts for Christmas, you might find it there. Try it out. So we welcome. He had his 1-year celebration. Tony and I met with Bill and Lynn Mason. They managed to Kundawide, and they were wondering how the short-term rental law would fit in with them. So we suggested some wording, and I passed it on to the board, and needs some more finer tuning. But we'll have that conversation in the next workshop. Then I went to the Chapman Museum community dinner, again at the Queensbury Hotel, and blah 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 blah. Oh, and I got some other things I'll share with you later. And then, okay, skip a lot of things, but that's a highlight of, I think, what the public would want to hear. So that's it for me. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay. I'd like to thank Look TV and our Joel Barlow, our cameraman. And I want to thank the public. Thank you for coming tonight. And Town Council Shackner and our Deputy Town Clerk, Karen O'Brien, and the Town Board. Thank you all. Please drive safely and have a good night. Is there a motion to... oh, wait a minute. I'd like a motion to go into executive session to talk about a case related to a civil proceeding going against the town. And
So moved.
that's moved by Councilperson Frone, seconded by
Second.
Councilwoman Switzer. All those in favor of moving into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we are now unanimously moved into executive session. And when we move out, I'll close the official meeting.
The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan are one of New York's largest independently owned insurance agencies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian-American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.